Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I am Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and this morning we are doing take 10. So take 10 is a time. Good morning. I'm Elisa. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to make sure that we are live. So I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com. And this morning we are doing take 10. And take 10 is just an art play date, an opportunity to play with our supplies, to try some different techniques, to see what we like. This is my take 10 journal. We don't worry about creating a product. I think sometimes we get too caught up in creating a product, a final product, making something look like Instagram worthy or, you know, something that people would want to buy. And really, art is about having fun and releasing feelings in different ways. Oh, I loved this one. This one was very cool. Good morning. Good morning from Daytona. Awesome. Good morning, Shannon. So good to see you. So what we do is we take 10 minutes. I set a timer and we will spend 10 minutes playing with supplies, seeing what we like, chatting online about things that we are enjoying as far as it comes to creativity, and just kind of seeing what comes of it. Today we are using acrylic paint. So I have some pulled out from Jane Davenport. These are some of the older Jane Davenport paints. I think she has a new line released now. So we're going to use some acrylic paint, but we're going to water it down a good bit because I think it would be fun to see it watered down. So we're going to see what happens. That's kind of how I roll. Let me know. Good morning, Joy. If you're here, make sure to comment in the chat, say good morning. Let me know how you feel about acrylic paints. I feel like you either love or hate them. I'm a big acrylic paint fan. Today I also, you guys should be so proud. Good morning, Elena. Sometimes for take 10, I jump on here like in a rush. Today I actually prepped a couple pages and it looks super messy, I know, but these are prepped with gesso, white gesso, and I prepped them to be messy on purpose because I wanted a texture in the background, and I kind of wanted to see what the paint was going to do when it was running on the texture. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Elena. Good morning, Joy. So good to see you guys. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna set my timer and we will just jump into this. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so I'm gonna start out by pulling out, this is just a deviled egg tray that I bought from an Aldi store, which is a store we have near me, kind of a chain grocery store. And I'm just gonna use some blues to start out with. I'm gonna put some of my paint in here, and then this is kind of getting to be old paint. And then I'm going to add, I'm just gonna add some water to it. And then you know what else I'm gonna do? We're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna add it right on my page. Okay, that's a little watered down, but I kind of wanted even more. In my head, I was kind of thinking acrylic ink in a way. I just wanted to play with the blending of the paints when they were wet. I happen to really like working in a wet medium. It is, in a way, kind of soothing for my type A personality. So if you are new here, I am like planner extraordinaire. I am a creative person. I like doing creative things, but I like having a plan, and I like working from that plan, and I like when things turned out as I planned. And when they don't, sometimes I have trouble. So you see some of the texture coming through? I think that's when some of this is pooling just a little bit. So I'm going to pull out a paper towel, kind of soak up some. See, and the cool thing about there being gesso underneath is that you can Soak it up. It's fun with the paper towel. Anyway, so I like working with the wet mediums because it's so contrary to my typical personality. It is something that you can't control super well. There's, you know, a limit to the amount of control you're going to have when you're working with wet mediums. And so I happen to love acrylic paint because you can control a lot, but once you add water, you're giving up some of that control. Okay, this is my kind of random color. Let's add some lime green, and I thought, as opposed to watercolor. So of course I could do the same technique with watercolor. This is not watercolor paper, by the way. This is just kind of a mixed media paper. As opposed to watercolor, one of the ideas behind doing the acrylic is that you'd be able to layer a little bit differently, was what I was thinking. So I'm gonna actually come in, bring in a little bit more, kind of layer it. I kind of like this area. I'm a big fan of the gesso coming through. I like the texture that it's creating. I a little bit want to, we're just going to continue that green. That green is nice, you guys. Look how it's mixing. Now, these bubbles that I'm getting because of this kind of ploppiness that I'm doing, if I don't want them there, I probably want to come back with a paper towel and just kind of pop those. They're moving along the page because I have gesso. The paint is going to move a little bit more freely. If I let it dry, it would dry and you'd have those circles. I kind of don't want that on this. I'm kind of super digging this page, like a whole lot. I'm gonna pull out my dryer. Sorry for the noise. What do y'all think? Let me know. What do you think about the mediums you can't control? It's so contrary for me because I like the control, but I think that's why I also enjoy these mediums. Ooh, look how it's becoming so white right there. That's kind of nice. What is your favorite to work with? I know we have several watercolor artists that join us every week, and you guys that make actual beautiful art with watercolors amaze me. I think it's so beautiful. Look at how you see the veins of that texture coming through, and then of course how the paper, gesso wasn't totally dry behind it, how the texture changes with the gesso underneath. So there's the gesso line, and then the paint went over the top of it. I am loving it. Okay, I'm totally digging this. I am just about to film an art journal entry and planning on doing something similar. I was going to do it with watercolor, but now I think I'm going to do it with acrylics because this is fun. Okay, I'm going to add this kind of coral-ish color. It's a pinkish color. It's called Kiss Kiss, and I think it'd be a good contrast. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I agree with the muddying up watercolors. That can be tricky. I'm going to get a different brush. Smaller one. I still want to use, oh, that is some blue water, friends. That's gonna change the color. I should have used the spray. Let's do this. Watercolors can be tricky. You definitely need to have your color theory out and know what colors are gonna blend, what colors are not gonna blend. Nice. I like how I'm getting the little bit of transparency with these art marks because of the fact that there's water in there. Ooh, fun. I could create backgrounds all day, you guys. I feel like, I don't know that they'd be great. Hey, Amanda, welcome. I don't know that they'd be amazing backgrounds, but I do find it super relaxing. This to me is a great setup for a background, and then I would kind of go over the top of it with some sort of focal point. But I love, love, love the texture. It is giving me all the feels right now. And now I'm going to use the gold because you guys know me and I can't resist a good splatter. This is the brush I use for splattering because it's nice and thick. I'll get it a little bit wet. I should have changed out my water, but that's okay. All right, and we'll just splatter. Just because I think it adds more interest and contrast, which I find interesting. That's what I think is interesting about this particular background. That splatter is going all over the place. Yay! Okay, this one is fun. I'm not going to be able to dry it all the way and still do another one. But I like the thought behind this. Love that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do something really bad and just turn this while it's wet, because I do what I want, right? Come on, we're just playing here. Okay, same idea. This is a little bit muddy because my water is muddy, but see how we have that texture from the gesso in the background, and now I'm gonna bring in some of that gold. So this is definitely getting muddy. This is the only clean water I have in sight, guys, so you'll have to bear with me here. This is me cleaning my brush with a spray bottle. Total sense. It makes total sense. Okay, are you someone that likes to start with the background on your art journal pages or any of your journaling pages? Or do you prefer to start with what your main thing is going to be? Let me know. I like to start with the background and then see if the main thing is going to come to me. And sometimes the background becomes the main thing, if that makes sense. It kind of speaks in a way and lets me know what it wants. Right. What do we think? This one, those are kind of weird, but let's bring in some of the gold. I'm gonna kind of follow those. You know what? When I'm using the brush strokes, you're getting less of the texture from the gesso. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's an interesting thing. You're still gonna end up with texture. That's one good thing about the acrylics as opposed to watercolor. So watercolor is not going to dry with form. Alexa, stop. It's not going to dry with form. It's going to, you know, flatten out, I guess you would say. But acrylic, if I left it here, even though it's watered down, you'd get some. This is fun. That one looks cool. I kind of dig this one too. You guys, I just want to make backgrounds all day. Just want to. Maybe I should do another background video all about making backgrounds so I can just play, because look how fun that is. Okay, totally digging that. You guys might not agree. Which one? Tell me which one you like better, the pink or the blue and green. A lot more going on here, and because I put it on the paper towel, you have even more texture going on, which is fun to play with. Awesome. That kind of wraps it up for today. I am about to go film an art journal video, and I definitely feel inspired right now because this was a lot of fun to do. So I'm going to clear this off, and then I'm going to film a video, and so check back next week because you might see some similar techniques coming in to my art journal. I hope that you all have a fabulous day. I don't have any supplies linked for this one. Grab your favorite acrylic paints, add water, go for it. Have fun making some backgrounds today. They are a lot of fun in my opinion. A huge shout out to my YouTube members. I see several of them here. Shannon and Amanda, thanks for for joining. If you want to find out about YouTube membership, make sure to click the join button. If you don't see a join button, it is in the description below, so you can find out more. There are several perks involved with becoming a YouTube member or a Scrappy YouTube member, so make sure to check those out. All right, you guys, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.